Hi there, new moon in Leo on the 4th of August at around 11:14, that's universal time. Welcome, I'm Debbie from Celestial Astrology Healing, and today I'd like to do a short video based upon this new moon in Leo, which is a lovely, warm, sunny sign of the zodiac at this time of harvest in the Northern Hemisphere, where we celebrate Lammas, the first harvest, and it's a time of abundance and appreciation, warmth, gratitude, love, fun, creativity, generosity, radiance, and all positive Leonian things. So the sun and the moon at new moon are always conjoined with each other, and they're at 12 degrees Leo, 30-something minutes. Each time I use my solar fire program on different computers, it comes up at different times. So it's 12 degrees in Leo. So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I welcome you to subscribe, press likes, leave a comment below, and thank you to current subscribers, astro friends that support me here in my astrological offerings. So how I like to begin is always to share a few images just to get into the feeling of what the Leo new moon may mean, with the significance of the sun and Leo the lion, which is the symbolic ruler of this new moon. And then I will share a chart of the moment, and then I will give short delineations for your sign of the zodiac. If you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your rising sign. If not, you can listen in for your sun or your moon, or you can listen for all three and see which resonates with you. So I'm Debbie. I am a consulting Western astrologer using the whole sign house system and the tropical zodiac. And after listening to the introduction, you can scroll along to the signs of the zodiac from Aries through to Pisces. So let's just make a start with some images. So here I start with this lovely image of Leo the lion with a glyph of Leo here above. So what can we see here? We see this really warm, positive image of Leo the lion. He is a sunny, regal, sort of leader of the pack, obviously. And Leo is a fixed yang, as in outward expressing sign of the zodiac, in the fixed modality, and fire. Fire being the sun, the ruler of Leo, and fire, the sun is the most important planet or luminary in the zodiac that we live in, because without the sun we can't survive. And within our own natal charts, the sun represents our sense of ambition, our soul's purpose, the dynamism, the yang, the drive, the ambition in our lives. So at this Leo time of year, and we all have Leo somewhere in our birth chart on one of the house cusps. So you can look below at my videos and blogs. I've got a few teaching videos, but I use the whole sign house system, and using free software such as AstroSeek or astro.com, you can cast your chart for free, use the whole sign house system to try it, and then you can see where the Leo house cusp is in your chart, because this is where this new moon in Leo is going to be on the 4th of August. And new moons are a time of dark moon. So there is the theory of new moons, new beginnings, but actually you'd be best to sort of contemplate what you'd like to plant seeds to germinate over the next 6 months, perhaps, where there will be a full moon on the 12th of February, 2025. So at the dark of the moon, there's no light to reflect the sun, but it is certainly the dark part of the cycle that begins building the light up into the full moon 2 weeks later. So Leo, the positive traits of Leo, all signs have positive and more shadow side traits. So Leo can be warm, generous, positive, radiant, youthful, creative, playful, enjoying having that sort of sense of performing in some way, whether it's through dance, using a facade that you can hide behind, because quite often Leos are seen in the public eye, but there can be a shyness about Leos, and perhaps they feel more able to shine their light positively when they feel safe in their home environment, or where they're under you know, a costume of some sort, so you can perform and become another aspect of yourself and project out that positive energy of performance. And that can be through dance, music, song, poetry, storytelling, all of these fun-loving energies, because Leo is related to children as well. And Leos have that sense of youthfulness, and they're very warm-hearted and generous, because Leo actually rules the heart as well in the body, the heart and the spine. So more shadow sides of Leo can involve having a bit of a sensitive ego, needing to feel appreciated for the unique offerings that you may have, and thinking that you know best, perhaps being a bit bossy. And because of the stubborn nature, fixed nature of this sign of the zodiac, there can be a stubbornness and a resistance to change. But, you know, everybody has Leo in their chart, and it's about being in balance. So Leo has a lot to offer us, and this new moon in Leo can be a very warm and positive time of this cycle. Now, let me see what other image I've got to share. Sometimes it moves it along, and sometimes I have to stop. Start sharing again. Sorry about this. Here's another image of Leo that I love. Am I sharing? I'm not sure if I'm sharing, actually. Maybe it's because I was... Sorry, bear with me. I am recording, which is a shame, because I like to pause this. This is just another image of Leo the lion, showing that he is indeed sovereign, the ruler, the leader of the pack, who demands that sort of sense of respect. And Leos are very loyal and regal, and there's something quite proud about the Leo. You know, they can dominate, but they also can be very warm and loving. And, you know, he's the king of the jungle here. So I have Leo somewhere in my chart, which is quite a powerful aspect. And that's part of my personality. And actually with Leo appearances, there can often be, if you've got strong Leo planets in your chart, there can often be something about the mane, the hair being quite important part of how you present yourself and come across to others. So the mane, the big mane of the lion, can be quite an important factor in how you show up in the world. And finally, just showing the powerful nature of the vibrancy, warmth and exuberance of the sun, the center of our solar system. And the sun, as I was saying, being that masculine principle, as in yin yang, yang energy, sending out powerful dynamic energy, warmth, radiance, dynamism, positivity, ambition, drive. All of these things are related to the sun, which rules Leo. And the sun in our charts, our own personal natal chart, can also represent the masculine principle within our lives, which can relate to our father. So that can be an interesting thing to look at in your natal chart. So if you're interested in a reading, I love to do private readings for people by live recorded Zoom. I would need your name, place, date, and crucially the time of birth for accuracy to have the correct ascendant, and then from that the house cusps are made. So get in touch below. I'm pretty well priced. I've been doing readings now for about 3 years, so I'm relatively newly qualified, but I spend many hours in preparation before offering you a full reading for about an hour and a half on live recorded Zoom, and then I send you the recording, and I also send my typed notes. So if you're interested, check below and also look at my client testimonials. So thank you. If you can subscribe again, if you're interested in supporting me. These talks and offerings take quite a lot of time. And the reason I actually do it is to promote myself, to try to get people to come to me for private consultancy. So thank you so much if you're able to support this journey, as it's my hope for the future that I become a full-time professional astrologer. And I feel like I'm at the beginning of this journey, and I've saturated many of my friends in my circle, in my community. So I'm always interested to share your personal chart with new people. So thank you again for considering that. Am I recording now? Let me just see. I'm hoping that this is recording and this is showing the actual chart of the new moon in Leo. It's the 4th of August 2024. British summertime is shown here as 12:12, so that's ahead 1 hour, so it's 11:12. Let me just double check that I'm recording. Yeah, I believe I am recording. Okay, so let's just have a little look at this chart, which I'll annotate just to show what's happening in the heavens at this time. And get my annotate tool up. First of all, I'm going to circle the new moon, and we can see this is the glyph. So I'll just go around the whole zodiac just for those that may be newer to astrology. So at the 9 o'clock position, this is the ascendant in your birth chart, but the glyphs go anti-clockwise, the glyphs of the zodiac. So we have Libra. This would be a chart for a Libra reading. Libra ascendant there. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. So this is where we have the stellium of planets at this new moon. We have the sun and the moon at 12 degrees. It shows 33 minutes here in Leo. There's 30 degrees in each sign. And we can see Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, harmony, refinement, pleasures, lust, finances, and values at 29 degrees, 13 minutes Leo. So that would count as a stellium of planets in Leo. So Venus is bestowing some sense of extra energy of the Leonian nature. So accentuating all our pleasures that can be to do with fun, creativity and enjoyment. So that's a positive placing. And remembering that this new moon, we can initiate ideas, plant seeds for the future that we can hope to bring to fruition around the Leo full moon on the 12th of February 2025. So other energies that we've got going on, I'm going to remove that circle so we can see where Mercury is. So Mercury, the planet of communications, travel, journeys, technology, mercantile projects, such, selling things and etc. This is Virgo. Mercury is currently at 4 degrees Virgo, 4 minutes. And this S here means that Mercury is now stationing to move retrograde. So Mercury's been very, very, very slowly moving. There was a pre-shadow period from the 17th of July. That's when planets start to slow before they come to station. Then they go retrograde. So the 26th of July, Mercury ingressed. That means moved into the sign of Virgo. And Virgo is the sign, one of the signs that Mercury rules. Mercury rules Virgo, the earth, mutable sign of the zodiac, symbolized by the Virgin bringing in the harvest. And there's a sense of perfectionism, earthiness, being of service, having meaningful reason to exist and be productive and, be analytical and, meticulous in some ways, discarding the chaff from the wheat. So there's always that sense of always wanting to improve with Virgo. There's a sense of knowing what's best and knowing what can be improved, but sometimes that can lead to a sense of hypercriticism and hyper-idealism, which is it's never been satisfied sometimes. But Mercury is very productive in Virgo. However, Mercury is now stationed and about to move back into the sign of Leo. So on the 4th to the 5th of August, so it's the day of the new moon or the day after, depending on where you are in the world, Mercury is about to retrograde back. And on the 15th of August, Mercury returns to the house of Leo, the previous house here, going back the way, it's actually going clockwise. That's the primary motion here. And then on the 28th of August, Mercury will get to about 21 degrees Leo, 25 minutes, and then stationing to move direct again, so moving back towards Virgo, and that's when the post-shadow period begins. And then on the 9th of September, Mercury returns to Virgo. That's the house that Mercury rules, the temple that Mercury rules, And then on the 11th of September, there's a sense of Mercury ending that post-shadow period of being at this stationed degree of 4 degrees. So if there's any way that you can avoid making definite plans or signing important documents until at least, you know, the 9th of September, but maybe at the 11th of September, you know, there can be this negative connotation to Mercury retrograde because communications can be confused, there can be delusion, there can be misconception, there can be poor interactions and poor ideas, there can be technological breakdowns, there can be mechanical breakdowns. All of these things are related to travel, computers, communications, and journeys. However, you know, if you're flexible and you can make last minute plans and be adaptable, then that's always a positive thing to do during Mercury retrograde, just be more spontaneous. So that's important. And so if you have any planets around the degrees 0 Virgo to 21 degrees Leo, this Mercury retrograde may be more significant for you. And in the readings that I'm about to give from Aries through to Pisces, I'll be looking at which houses are involved. So for Libra ascendants, for example, it will be the 12th house and the 11th house because Mercury will be going back into Virgo. So I think that's what I want to say. Oh, yeah, no, there was one other thing. So as well as this being a positive time, there are a couple of planets at the anaretic degree. So the anaretic degree is 29 degrees of a sign, and it can be counted as the very first 0 degrees of a sign as well. So it's like the planet at 29 degrees. And in this case, we have Venus, the goddess of love. She is in Leo, and she's about to move into Virgo, which will actually be a place of her detriment because she rules Pisces. No, she's exalted in Pisces, so it's a place of fall. So it's opposite exaltation in Pisces. She's going to be moving into Virgo. So when she does that, you know, she's going to lose a bit of that fiery energy, become more discerning, become more practical, maybe more critical, and that may be related to our partners and our relationships because Venus is about our interactions with others. So anyway, Venus is at 29 degrees, and we also have Neptune, the modern day planet that's given to be the ruler of Pisces, at 29 degrees. And if we also look at Pluto, which is retrograde at 0 degrees 35 minutes Aquarius, about to retrograde back into Capricorn for the last time around, I think it's the 2nd of September till the 19th of November. You know, Pluto takes 248 years to move around the whole zodiac, so moves very slowly. So this will be the last time that Pluto gives us all time to tie up any ends in our Capricorn houses in our own personal birth chart. Anyway, that these energies, 29 degrees, and maybe 0 degrees here, could be seen as the anaretic degree. In ancient astrology, when planets are 150 degrees apart, they're seen to not see each other, and it's called averse. However, in modern astrology, that would be called the inconjunct or the quincunx. So if we go back 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, there is a quincunx between Mercury and Venus, and there is a quincunx between Venus and Pluto, and then there is a more of a helpful aspect of around 30 degrees, which is a sextile. I believe this is called a wedge in the astrological pattern that it makes. So, you know, quincunx is if you relate to that as an important aspect, it's a minor aspect because the major aspects are conjunctions, squares, trines. Sorry, I've missed sextile. Conjunction, sextile. So conjunctions when they're within 3 degrees of each other, or maybe up to about 10 degrees if you're using the moon. Sextiles are 60 degrees. They're helpful. They're of the nature of Venus. Trines are helpful. They're the nature of Jupiter. Squares are challenging. They're the nature of Saturn. And oppositions are tug of war type energy needing to balance. They're the nature of Saturn. So quincunx is a minor aspect in modern astrology. However, there can be a sense of tension or something stressful or something not quite right. So between Venus and Neptune, there can be confusion around personal relationships or some confusion around finances or values. And between Venus and Pluto, that's a transformation type energy. Pluto about digging deep, purging out, release, renewal, endings, control issues, those sort of things. So there can be some dynamics within those energies for all of us if we take into account that quincunx energy between these planets that are at the anaretic degree. So see if any of that resonates with you. Leave a comment below and let's get started on the first sign of the zodiac. So I'll just pause the screen and bring up Aries. So hi there, Aries. Whether you're looking in for your rising sign, if you know your time of birth, or your sun or your moon, as we can see, the new moon in Leo is happening in your 5th house. So in ancient times, this was known to be the house of Venus's joy. So it's about your pleasures, your creativity, love, romance. It could be sporting things that you do for recreation, entrepreneurship, and also it can be related to pregnancy and children. So for some of you, there could be a new beginning here that may come to fruition in the next 6 months, where we get the full moon in Leo around the, I'm getting a date, it's the 12th of February, 2025. So remember, this is an initiation point where you may want to start some new ideas and plan ahead for the future. It could be that you would like to bring something to the table to offer the world. It could be a business idea if you're self-employed, or it may relate to your children relationship, something new around children or romance. And we've got Venus here at the anaretic degree. So, you know, there is a little bit of tension there, but Venus also wants to harmonize, wants to support, wants to bring together in union and pleasures. It can be to do with finances as well and values. So if I just then point to the Mercury, here is Mercury here in the 6th house of Virgo, stationing to move retrograde, as I've mentioned earlier. So when Mercury, I'm going to say she, because Mercury can be androgynous, can be masculine or feminine. It's the psychopomp that takes the spirit from the earthly realm to the realm of the afterworld. It's the magician. It's the traveler that goes between villages in ancient times and passes on the news and sells his, you know, his wares, and then gets the gossip and brings it back. So there's a communication, mercantile energy, magician energy. And because Virgo is a yin sign of the zodiac, I'm going to call Mercury feminine in this case, as in, you know, she. So she is now in the 6th house. And in ancient times, this was known to be the house of Mars's joy. So Mars is the planet of war. He is the warrior. He naturally rules Aries and Scorpio in ancient times. So Mars can sometimes cause some sort of battle or conflict or agitation. You know, there's something where there can be discord wherever a planet's in the 6th house, and it can be related to your everyday life, work, routines, rituals, as in what you do for your work and everyday things. If you're a mother or a parent at home, it could be the mundane chores that you do on a daily basis, which is about self-sacrifice and offering services to others, because in ancient times, this was the house of servants. So it's to do with work, and it also can be to do with your own health, your physical and sometimes mental health here. So, you know, there can be some sort of sense of analyzing lots of things, going inward, because Virgo likes to analyze and go into the minutiae and the details. So then Mercury will be retrograding back into Leo on the 15th of August. So it's going to be in the house of Venus's joy here. So maybe bringing up, reflecting, reviewing, rethinking, revisiting topics around all of the 5th house pleasures, romance, entrepreneurship, ideas, children. There could be a sense of trying to reflect and deal with some issues maybe that haven't been dealt with during that Mercury retrograde period. And then Mercury will return to Virgo on the 9th of September and clear the shadow period around the 11th of September here. back into this area where you can move forward maybe with new ideas of how you want to change your work routines. So in the future, your planet, your ruling planet Mars, will be conjoining with Jupiter in your third house of communications and journeys, but that will be another video. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, Aries, and thank you very much, and I hope that's helpful. So now let's move on to the next sign of the zodiac, which is Taurus. See if I can just move it without pausing. Thank you for bearing with me. I've actually got a bit of an issue with my eye at the moment, so that's not helping me see so well. But here we are, Taurus, ascendant, sun or moon. If you know your time of birth, then listen in for your ascendant, but you can also listen in for your sun and your moon. So we have this new moon here for you, Taurus, in a very dynamic area of life. It's one of the angles of the chart. An angular house is the first house, the 7th, 4th, or 10th. So these are called the kentrons of the chart, the pivot points. So they speak louder, and the 4th house is one of these angles. So for you, Taurus, there is a sense of something new is about to happen around home and family roots, the land, ancestry, property. These dynamics are definitely going to be unfolding in the next 6 months, leading up to the 12th of January 2025, when there's a full moon in Leo, bringing these ideas to fruition. And we have Venus at the anaretic degree here, a 10th degree, but also wanting to shine the brightness and be positive and use these, you know, these lovely, warm, open-hearted Leonian traits to the fore. You know, so there are definite new beginnings happening around your topics of home and family. So what is it for you, Taurus, that's shifting here? What would you like to change for the future? And then let's have a little look at Mercury, the planet of communication. And just to say, Venus is your ruler, and so she is in Leo here, trying to bring harmony and union into this area of home and family. But, you know, she is also making a quincunx to Neptune up here in the house of groups and friendships, which can be related to your long-term goals. So there's some sort of stresses here, some tension, something that's not quite flowing that you may be reflecting upon. And also there's a sense of Venus being in a quincunx to Pluto up in the house of your public visibility. So relationships, how you interact with others, control issues, changes, transformation and regeneration in that public status house, the 10th house there where Pluto is in Aquarius. And Mercury, here she is in Virgo, and she's about to retrograde. She's stationed direct. So there's a sense of reflecting, you know, you maybe have been thinking about your pleasures or your children, or, you know, things that are important to you on a creative level here with Mercury and Virgo, analyzing quite a lot perhaps. And Mercury is now about to return to the house of your home and family. On the 15th of August, Mercury will be entering Leo here. And then on the 28th of August, Mercury will be stationed and direct at 21 degrees Leo, and then returning to Virgo on the 9th of September, and then moving past this 4-degree point where Mercury is stationing retrograde. So that's the post-shadow period. So after the 11th of September, Taurus, if you've got any legal documents or anything really important to sign, if there's any way you can wait until after the 11th of September, that could be a better time for clarity and knowing that you're making the right decisions. Because with Mercury retrograde, there can be miscommunications, there could be delays, there could be breakdowns in communications, travel, technology, all of these things. So let me know if anything like that resonates to you. Obviously, if you can't avoid these things, just take extra time to look through all the minutiae of things so that you don't get misled. Thank you for listening. So now moving on to Gemini. Hi there, Gemini. So if you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant. If not, you can listen in for your sun and your moon and see which resonates for you. So this is a new moon happening in your third house. So the third house can mean lots of different things. In ancient astrology, this was the house known as the house of goddess, the joy of the moon. So it can be related to friendship groups, not as in groups like the 11th house groups, but, you know, old-fashioned friends. They can be siblings or people that you treat as your family, and, you know, friends that are very close to you, perhaps in your local neighborhood, that, you know, they are very close on your inner circle of trust, as it were. So this new moon at 12 degrees Leo is an opportunity for you to plant new seeds of something new around your local neighborhood, which may be related to lots of journeys, or it may be related to a different way of communicating, or planting seeds to bring something to fruition around the 12th of January 2025, when there is a full moon in Leo. Yeah, so you're very good at communicating anyway, Geminis. You know, that is what you do. It's your mind. It's how you debate. You love to share ideas. You love that ping pong of bouncing things to and fro. You love, you know, that light-hearted humor, mischief, and all of those things. So there could be something around community, fun, new beginnings, create, you know, using your own creativity in that local environment around and about your home, with a chance to use your unique skills in how you either communicate or write or share your ideas. And Venus, the goddess of love, is there, bringing extra sense of pleasures. Maybe finances may be improved at this point, but bearing in mind that Venus is in the anaretic degree, and she is making a tense aspect, if we're using modern astrology, to Neptune up here. This is in your 12th and your 10th house of your public status. So this is about what you're seen to do in life. So it's a slightly tense angle. Quincunx, it's a minor aspect. It's a little bit stressful, a little bit, you know, itchy, a little bit like can't get to this the itchy scratchy bit that I need to reach, and it's just really a bit irritating. So it's irritating and stressful. And Neptune can be about confusion, delusion, depletion. So there's maybe some sense of around you, if you're still working in your career life, it could be around your career, and that slight confusion or sense of surrendering something, letting go of something here. And also we have Venus in a quincunx to Pluto, and this is in your 9th house of God, which is to do with the higher mind, your belief systems, how you make sense in the world. And these things may be changing with Pluto having moved into Aquarius most recently. So that angle there, you know, maybe bringing up transformations within your own close relationships as well, with Venus, the goddess of love, and our personal interactions with Pluto about changes, regeneration, and rebirth, and a new way of showing up. So let me know if that's helpful. And also, oh yeah, let's have a little look at Mercury, your ruler, Mercury being the ruler of both Virgo, where Mercury is at the moment stationing to go retrograde at 4 degrees Virgo. She's your ruler of Gemini as well, which rules your 1st house, about your self-expression. So Mercury is about to move retrograde either on the 4th or the 5th of August, depending on where you are in the world. Mercury will return to Leo, which is your 3rd house. So bringing up these ideas around your communications and journeys, and how you interact with others in your local neighborhood. So it's a time of reflection. And on the 28th of August, Mercury will station direct around 21 degrees Leo, and then move back to Virgo on the 9th of September, but clear this shadow period after the 11th of September, after Mercury moves past this 4-degree point in Virgo, and that's in the house of home and family. So, you know, there could be things that you're reflecting upon that are important to you in your home environment, and then, you know, reflecting back as you go back into the house of communications, and then as we move forward back into the home and family house, when Mercury clears that shadow period, maybe you can implement new ideas and new ways of working things out in the home and family. So let me know if any of that's helpful or resonates with you, Geminis, and thank you so much for listening. Again, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel, and it encourages me and helps the algorithm to show my videos to more people. So thank you so much if you can do that. So now we're moving on to the next sign, Cancer. Hi there, Cancer, ascendants. If you know your time of birth, your sun or your moon, you can listen for all of these things and see which is a clearer picture for you. This new moon in Leo at 12 degrees is happening in your second house. So the second house is related to your resources, your skills, your finances, what you can bring to the table, what you take into your body, and also your sense of what you can do to create security and, you know, feel safe. And for you Cancerians, feeling safe is very important because, you know, Cancer is a symbol of the crab carrying the home on the back and feeling protected and safe behind that hard shell. So there's the potential here with this new moon in Leo, co-present with Venus, the goddess of love, bringing an opportunity for you to develop something over the next 6 months that may come into fruition around the 12th of February 2025, when we have the full moon in Leo, giving you some sense of how can you use your skills perhaps to plant new seeds to develop over the next 6 months, using that Leonian nature of your own uniqueness, because Leos love to feel different, love to offer something, love to feel that they can be appreciated for the uniqueness. So what's unique that you have to offer that you can actually develop over the next 6 months, Cancers? And Venus, she is at the anaretic degree. I've pointed it out before, so I'll just get my arrow. So using modern astrology, the quincunx, a minor aspect. Venus is, oh, that's my circle. Sorry about that. In the annotate tool, there's so many, there's about 12 or more different annotate tools we can use. So Venus is at 29 degrees here, and she is in a quincunx, 150 degrees, which is a stressful, slightly tense, itchy, irritated aspect to Pluto in your 8th house. That's right, in the 8th house, because Pluto has just gone into that house. So it's still in 150 degrees if you have like a couple of degrees orb. So the 8th house is about, it's about intimate relationships. It's about death and transformation. It can be about mystical pursuits, things that are more taboo to do with, you know, life, death, rebirth, mysticism. And it also is related to shared resources or things that you may do in partnership. If you have a partner, it could be to do with their finances, or it could be to do with shared resources on projects that you work with others. So there's something tense going on there with Venus about relationships and values and interactions with others, with Pluto, which may bring up some control issues because Pluto is Hades, god of the underworld. And, you know, archetypally, he abducted Persephone, took her to his underworld, basically fell in love with her, raped her, wanted her to be his wife. And so therefore there can be sort of that power dynamic of control. But within the earth, there are also treasures. So it can be about riches that can be developed, but there is a tense aspect there going on there with Venus and Pluto. And also you've got the quincunx between Venus and Neptune. So there could be some confusion because Neptune can bring in that sense of other realms, faith, belief systems, trust in the universe, that things will be, it's like romantic, creative, high imagination, poetic, dreamy, but also foggy weather where you actually feel so confused, you don't really know what's going on. So you have Neptune at the anaretic degree in the 9th house there, related to your belief systems and the higher mind. So there could be some confusion around close relationships and whether your beliefs all match up together or you have different impetuses that help you make sense of the world. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, Cancer, and thank you very much for listening. So moving on to the next sign of the zodiac, welcome Leo. If you know your time of birth, we can listen in for our ascendants. Otherwise, Leo, you can listen in to your sun or your moon sign. So as all new moons are the sun and the moon conjoined at the same degree, as we can see, this is in a very dynamic house for you, Leo, because it's the first house of the chart. So the first house is the helm of the ship. It's about you. It's about your identity. It's about your mindset, how you show up, your vitality. So there is an opportunity for you, Leos, here to start something new that can be beneficial or can tap into your own unique creativity and what you can share. It can be maybe developing your leadership skills or teaching abilities, because Leo is the lion, the leader of the pack. There's something warm and sunny and ambitious that potentially could be developed leading up to the full moon, if you're using the moon as a cycle to plant seeds, to grow things and germinate things and come to fruition around the full moon on the 12th of February 2025, 6 months later. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, harmony, wealth, interactions and relationships and your values, is at the anaretic degree here in Leo. And as before, I'll just draw a line here showing the quincunx, a modern day minor aspect, 150 degrees with an orb to Pluto, which is in your house of close personal relationships. So there's a sense of tension, irritation, challenge, things that need to be smoothed out, because Pluto can bring up hidden agendas, things that have been pushed down into our psyche, but they need to come up and be cleansed, released, healed. Control issues, it can be darkness, it can be power struggles. And there's some tension here between you and your self-expression, wanting to be in control, and Pluto with you know, maybe endings and release in the house of close relationships. If you're not in a close relationship, this can also relate to transformations and regenerations towards your audience or clientele if you offer a service to others within a business. So that's another way of looking at that Venus and Pluto. And potentially there could be things that come to good fruition, because Venus is about values and Pluto can be about riches once we've purged out the old and released all of that. And then we've got Venus also quincunx to Neptune at 29 degrees, that tense aspect again. Neptune related to that sense of surrendering or trust in the universe or other realms. But in the 8th house, it's to do with karmic debt as well. It's the view of others, it's the esteem of others in ancient times. And it's about what you bring to the table, what others bring to the table. And there can be a confusion around that going on for you Leos as well, with Neptune bringing in some fogginess or sense of depletion, wanting to surrender. And then you've got that Pluto giving a sextile there, which can support trying to come to some resolution there. And the sun is your ruler, and the sun is vibrant in your 1st house. So let's hope that this can be a positive new moon for you, tapping into being open-hearted, warm, having fun and enjoying life. So I hope that's helpful, Leo. And now moving on to the next sign of the zodiac, which is Virgo. Thank you for listening. Hey there, Virgo. If you know your time of birth, you can listen here for your ascendant. If not, you can listen in for your sun or your moon and see which resonates. So here we have this new moon, Virgo, in the 12th house, which in ancient times was known as the place of Saturn's joy, because if I draw my arrow with Leo, the 1st house was here. The 1st house is here. This is known to be Mercury's joy, the helm of the ship. And then we go to the 2nd house, we go anti-clockwise. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. By the time we get to the 12th, it's the furthest away from having the control on your life. So there's a sense of trusting or retreating, because Saturn is the most distant planet of the solar system in ancient times. So it's a place of inner reflections, the subconscious, going deep into your dream world, going into your inner world, your inner wealth, your inner self, a place that's hidden behind the scenes when you're away from the public eye. And this could do with you maybe starting a new practice, something that you can develop over the next 6 months that may come to fruition around about the 12th of February 2025, when we have the full moon in Leo, when we can bring the new moon to its fruition, its completion, its ending cycle. So you also have Venus here at 29 degrees Leo in this house. So there may be a time of thinking about your personal relationships, what's important to you, values, things like that. Excuse me. But yeah, it could be a time of starting something new that's helpful for you, that can replenish you, because Virgos, you like to feel that you look after yourselves, you're aware of holistic health, perhaps. You're aware of being pure, or having certain standards of what you take into your body, or how you look after yourself. So there is a potential here to start something new, a new regime, or do some inner work here, which can help you know yourself well. At the same time, this 12th house can also be related to a place of self-undoing. So it sometimes can relate to letting go and surrendering control by, using whatever practices or taking into your body things like alcohol or recreational drugs, just to sort of think, oh, I just don't need to think about it. I'm just going to let it all go. That's the 12th house as well. So it can be inner work, spiritual work. It can also be a place of compassion where you offer support to others behind the scenes here. So just being aware of that, and any practices that maybe aren't helping you. And Venus at the anaretic degree at 29 degrees is also making a quincunx 150 degrees using modern astrology minor aspect to Neptune in your 7th house of personal relationships. So there can be some confusion or delusion or uncertainty around close relationships, because Neptune can be, can be related to other realms, other belief systems. The wanting things to be at the best, trusting with fantasy and maybe rose-tinted glasses of how things can be, but not often. That's not the reality. And Neptune can be quite depleting. So there can be some personal relationships or values that are under some tension or just a little bit irritating at this time. And Neptune is also, Venus is also in the quincunx to out of sign Pluto here, still within a couple of degrees, so still a quincunx, to Pluto in your 6th house here, just before he retrogrades back into Capricorn. So there may be some shifts and changes in your daily life patterns, your routines, how you take control in your life, or maybe transforming and letting go of old patterns here that are part of your being of service to others, changes and regeneration, letting go, new beginnings. So that's going on. And there is a helpful sextile between Pluto and Neptune here. So that's more of a supportive energy to your house of relationships, whilst, contemplating what needs to change, what's coming to an end, what can begin again, with that sense of rebirth with Pluto in your 6th house. And just quickly looking at Mercury, Mercury's station in retrograde in your 1st house here. So Mercury rules Virgo. So there's a sense of, analytical perfectionism, really looking deep into things, maybe around your own sense of self, because it's the 1st house. But Mercury is just about to retrograde back into Leo. That happens on the 15th of August. And then Mercury gets back to 21 degrees on the 28th of August. And then we'll station direct, starting to move back towards Leo. And then on the 9th of September, Mercury will come back into this house. So you can start implementing ideas that you may be reflecting upon and rethinking, revisiting, reviewing. And after the 11th of September, that's after Mercury moves past this post-shadow period, moving past 4 degrees. That's when it's a good time to really go ahead and make changes to your plans, or put into practice these ideas that you may be reflecting upon during this Mercury retrograde period. So it can be a helpful time revising and reviewing. So let me know if any of that resonates with you, Virgos. Thank you for listening. So Libra, hi there, Libra. If you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant here. If not, you can listen in for your sun or your moon. So let's just see which resonates with you. So this new moon at 12 degrees Leo, 33 minutes, is happening in your 11th house which in ancient times was known as the place of Jupiter's joy. So Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system, bombastic, expansive, opportunistic, positive growth, enlargement, you know, all of these hopes and wishes, being the largest planet of the solar system, and the greater benefic, meaning the helpful planet. Also, Venus is a benefic planet known as the lesser benefic planet in ancient times. So we have the lesser benefic planet Venus at 29 degrees here in Leo, co-present with this new moon, which can bring new beginnings in ways that you may think about implementing your ideas for long-term plans, your hopes and wishes. It's the dreams of this house is Jupiter's joy and the good spirit. So it can be about starting something new or thinking about what you'd like to start at this time of the dark moon. Maybe start thinking about implementing it in a few days when there's a light of the crescent moon building. And then this may come to fruition over the next 6 months if you work intentionally with these cycles of new and full moon, come into fruition around the 12th of February 2025. So there's a sense of also this could be to do with maybe making new friendships, because this house in ancient times was known as the house of allies and benefactors. In modern times, it could be the groups that you're a membership of, you know, so it's those that support you in your life as well. So you may be making new friendships as well, Libra. Venus is at the anaretic degree here, and I've been talking about this tense aspect that Venus is making by quincunx to Neptune in your house of work and service, self-sacrifice, duties, and it can be related to your health. So there may be something a little bit confusing with Venus at this tense anaretic degree. She's moving retrograde at the moment as well. So that tense aspect, it's a little bit like irritating. Something's not quite right, maybe within your work life, that's impacting upon your health, and it's confusing you about what to do. And also Venus is in a quincunx 150 degrees to Pluto, which is retrograding in your house of love, romance, children, creativity. So it's about your values and what's changing here with this Pluto ending, release, new beginnings, rebirth, purging out, releasing what's no longer required so that you can transform in a way. And then when Pluto moves back into the 4th house around 2nd of September to the 12th of November, I believe, that's the last time you can tie up these ends around home and family. So your ruler is Venus. So, you know, it is about really reflecting upon your close relationships and your values in life. So, and also the Mercury retrograde. For you, Librans, Mercury is currently at 4 degrees in Virgo, which she rules. She's stationed in here. She's going to be moving back into your house. This is a reflective house, you know, the hidden house, the furthest away. So, you know, on a deeper level, you may be really analyzing and thinking deeply about what really concerns you and your sense of what you offer and your productivity. But when Mercury returns to Leo on the 15th of August, that's a time where you may be implementing how this may affect your long-term goals and your dreams for the future. And it can be related to money from your career, because the 10th house is career and the 11th house is your second derived house, as in finances from your career. So there's a sense of maybe looking at that as part of your long-term goals for the future. And then the 28th of August, Mercury will station direct at 21 degrees Leo, returning to Virgo on the 9th of September and clearing the shadow period on the 11th of September. So if there's any way that you can delay signing new contracts until after the 11th of September, that would be the most ideal thing, because during Mercury retrograde, there can be miscommunications or you may miss some details. So take time if you have to sign some contracts or make long-term plans, check the fine print. So I hope that's helpful for you, Libra, and thank you very much for listening. Press like, share, subscribe if you can. Thank you so much. So moving on now to Scorpio. Hi there, Scorpio. If you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant here. If not, you can listen for your sun or moon and see which resonates, and leave me a comment in the box below to tell me. That would be helpful. So this is one of the angles of the chart that I was talking about earlier, Scorpio. So we have this new moon up in the 10th house here. This is one of the strong angles of the chart. It's the highly visible house of praxis, action, what you're seen to do in the public eye. So if you are still working, this could be related to your occupation, your public status, the responsibility that you have in the world, your vocations. If you're not working, it could be charitable work. It could be your role, maybe as a parent or a grandparent. That's what you do in the world. That's how you're seen. That's what colors people's view of you in this 10th house. So at this time of the new moon, at 12 degrees, 33 minutes, Leo, there is an opportunity for you to think about what you'd like to maybe initiate and plant seeds to bring to fruition over the next 6 months related to this area of your life. And this may come to fruition around the 12th of February 2025, when there's a full moon in Leo. That whole sense of completion coming to light, coming to fruition, and maybe an end point. So you maybe will, if you work with the cycles of the moon, intentionally think about career plans or what you'd like to be doing in the public world and interacting with others and how that might be different. And it's about using your own personal creativity and individuality, Scorpios. What strengths have you got? What's unique about you? What can you share? It may be to do with leadership skills as well, because Leo is the lion, the leader of the pack, and often a great leader, a great teacher, one that can, really take the lead, take that responsibility. So that's something you can maybe contemplate upon. And looking at Venus, Venus is co-present with the sun and the moon here. But Venus is related to your relationships, your values, sometimes finances, how you interact with others. And it's in the warm, sunny, fixed fire sign of Leo, up there shining the light on your house of occupation and vocations. However, using the modern day aspect, quincunx, a minor aspect, there's a tense aspect going to Neptune here, which is at 29 degrees. They're both at the anaretic degree. Neptune in the 5th house of your pleasures, your relationships, perhaps romance. There could be some sense of complete confusion, depletion, just not feeling sure, because Neptune can bring in a sense of fantasy and dreams, romanticism, but you've also got Saturn there bringing some reality checks in. But yeah, at the anaretic degree, there can be confusion and depletion and a lack and a sense of something's missing. And that could be within your relationships, your romantic relationships, or something around children and creativity. And also you've got this quincunx 150 degrees out of sign quincunx to Pluto in Aquarius here. This is in the house of home and family. So there could be some dynamics that are shifting and changing and need to change and need to transform within this home environment. And it may be about maybe taking a bit more control for yourself, tapping into your own strengths here. But there are definite changes going on around home and family here. And, there is a helpful sextile between Pluto and Neptune. That's the nature of Venus, which can lend some support from this area of home and family to your sense of pleasures and creativity. So that's something going on. And then just talking about the Mercury retrograde, at the moment, we've got Mercury stationed in your 11th house of your long-term dreams, your hopes and your wishes. This is the house of Jupiter's joy, the largest planet of the solar system. So Neptune is in the temple that she rules, which is feminine, yin, Virgo, mutability, earth sign. And she's about to retrograde back into your house of public visibility. So there's a time of reflection, reviewing, rethinking, revisiting ideas, topics around career and vocations and how you want to be seen. The 15th of August, that's when Mercury returns to Leo. And on the 28th of August, Mercury will station direct in Leo at 21 degrees. The 9th of September, Mercury will move back into Virgo, where You can maybe move forward with ideas that you've reflected upon and be more productive after being analytical. And after the 11th of February, 11th of September, that's when Mercury will be clearing this post-shadow period of moving past this 4-degree stationary point. So ideally, that's when you can actually make changes, sign contracts, move ahead and implement these ideas after the 11th of September. And let's see where Mars is for you, because Mars is your ruler in ancient times. I've talked about Pluto. In modern day times, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, but for thousands of years, Mars was your ruler. So yeah, here's Mars, and there's going to be a conjunction soon with Mars and Jupiter. So Mars is in your 8th house of the esteem of others, joint finances, money that comes in from other sources. And it's quite dynamic. In Gemini, there's lots of different ideas flying around with the duality of the twins, the symbol of Gemini. So that's where Mars is for you, Scorpios. So lots going on there. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. And moving on now to Sagittarius. Thanks for listening, Scorpio. I hope you can't hear that noise in the background. Hope my Blue Yeti is just picking up my voice, but if you can, I apologize. Okay, so here we have Sagittarius. Hi there, Sagittarius. If you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant. And if you don't, you can listen in for your sun or your moon and see which resonates with you. So we have this new moon on the 4th or the 4th of August at 12 degrees, Leo, 33 minutes. And this is in your 9th house. So the 9th house is related to topics of the higher mind. In ancient astrology, this was the joy of the sun, the house of God, opposite the 3rd house, the house of goddess. So it's really about having a sense of maybe a new way of thinking about your place in the world and your belief systems. You may have some initiating ideas that are just brewing here that you can maybe bring to the fore over the next 6 months, come into fruition at the full moon in Leo on the 12th of February, some 6 months later, for this whole cycle to peak and develop. It's really about maybe using your own leadership skills. What unique qualities do you have if you have got wisdom and expertise in certain areas? It can be related to using those skills in life and leading and teaching and helping others. Also, this new moon in Leo in the 9th house may be related to maybe beginning a new higher education or further education course, or starting some travels, or interest in other cultures, spirituality, those sort of things, which can expand your mind and help you make sense of your place in the world and what you can offer with your purpose and sense of skills and sharing with others in a warm and open-hearted way. Because Sagittarians, let's face it, you love the quest. You're always wanting to learn. You just want to expand your knowledge. You're forever the student of the universe as well, because you're very open-minded and you're sending out that arrow high into the heavens, seeking more truth and knowledge. Truth is very important to you. So this new beginning here is potentially something that you can think about, what you'd like to grow over the next 6 months. And Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, harmony, relationships, your values, is also up here. You know, again, you know, it may highlight these topics that I've just mentioned there. And she is also in a bit of a tense aspect. I'm using the quincunx, which I don't usually, but because she's at the anaretic degree and so is Neptune, there's a quincunx going to your home house, the house of home and family down here, where Neptune is at 29 degrees Pisces. So 150-degree aspect can be a little bit itchy, scratchy, irritating, tense, stressful between your relationships up here, maybe in people that have a sense of power above you, because it traditionally was to do with solar figures. In ancient times, it would be like priests, lawyers, court, you know, judges. It could be gurus if you're part of a sect where you follow a certain spirituality and religion. So there could be some clashes or confusion there, but also there's this Neptune in the in the fourth house of home and family, with an uncertain sort of confusion, and you can't grasp the truth. There's a sense of, Neptune can bring in this sort of cloudy uncertainty. You're wanting the best, you're wanting to believe in the best, you're wanting to trust in the best ideas and outcomes of something around home and family and relationships, but it's quite foggy and confusing and maybe feels out of your control, Sagittarians. And also we have this quincunx as well to Pluto within 150 degrees. So there's also some tension here to your third house of communications, interactions with others. Could be related to siblings and distant relatives like aunts and uncles, or some sort of control challenges within your personal sibling relationship or neighborhood relationships, where things have to change and end. But at the same time, Pluto is giving a nice sextile aspect to Neptune, which is of the nature of Venus, and it's more of a supportive aspect of resolving something that may help you with these home and family dynamics. And let's just finish with Mercury here, station in retrograde, up in your dynamic house of home, of your vocations in life, your career life, what you're seen to do publicly. As you can see, Mercury is at 4 degrees Virgo, 4 minutes stationing, going retrograde shortly, moving back into your 9th house of Leo. So that will be on the 15th of August, Mercury returns to Leo. 28th of August, Mercury stations direct at 21 degrees Leo. The 9th of September, Mercury returns to your 10th house of public status and career, vocations in life, your reputation. And the 11th of September, Mercury moves past this 4 degrees shadow period. So, you may be reflecting on some career ideas and vocations in life, or your reputation and how that works in with your belief system about who you are in the world. And then you may be able to move forward after this Mercury retrograde period, Sagittarians, and change some ideas around how you show up in the world. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. And thanks for listening. If you can, press the like, subscribe, or leave a comment below. Thank you so much. Hey there, Capricorn. If you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant, and if not, you can listen in for your sun and moon. Here we have this new moon in Leo on the 4th of August at 12 degrees in your 8th house, co-present with Venus at 29 degrees. So the 8th house is generally a house about intimacy. It can be the house of death and endings and transformation and fears and anxieties. Therefore, it can be related to monies that come in from other sources like grants, taxes, inheritances. And it also can be related to shared resources, because it's the house opposite the 2nd house of personal resources. So it's about shared resources. In ancient times, it was the house of the esteem of others. So how others saw you and valued you. And if you're in a relationship, it can be related to your sense of karmic debt, what you bring to the table, what other people bring to the table, and how that's in balance or out of balance. But the new moon, if you work intentionally with the new moon, this could be a starting point of beginning something in a different way that you can bring to fruition over the next 6 months, coming to the 6-month peak of completion around the 12th of February 2025. So we also have Venus at the anaretic degree here, which, she's shining her light, and it is about you using your own unique skills here, Capricorn, because Leo is about uniqueness and leadership skills or teaching skills or creative skills. What have you got that you can share with others in this 8th house here that you can bring to fruition? Your ruler is Saturn, and Saturn is down here in your 3rd house of local community, neighborhood, round and about your home. It's about your local journeys round and about your home, and it can be to do with your sibling relationships, aunts and cousins, or friends that you treat as family. So that's where you've got Saturn at the moment, your ruler. But just talking about Venus, Venus is at the anaretic degree, causing a tense aspect, quincunx, modern day minor aspect, which is a stressful, itchy, scratchy, not quite right, irritated, tense energy from this house of shared resources to your house of local environment or sibling relationships or communications. So there's something that's, you know, a little bit needing to be resolved, but not quite right at the moment. And there's also Venus is in a quincunx to Pluto, 150 degrees there. And that's around looking at your own skills, resources, finances, values, and control that you have over that sense of security for the future. At the same time, you've got the nice helpful aspect, a sextile 60 degree between Pluto and Neptune. So there is a sense of digging deep, letting go, purging out what you no longer need to find your own inner strength and control around your skills and finances, giving a sextile to Neptune in your third house. And then we've also got the Mercury retrograde up here. As you can see, Mercury is at 4 degrees, 4 minutes, Virgo. This is in your 9th house of your higher mind, or related to your belief systems. There could be a sense of analyzing and rethinking things around your own spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs or attitudes to the world at large. And then there will be the retrograde of Mercury moving back into Leo on the 15th of August. And then on the 28th of August, Mercury stations direct at 21 degrees and moves back into this 9th house of Virgo again on the 9th of September, and then clears the shadow period of 4 degrees on the 11th of September. So that's when, after this reflective time of Mercury retrograde, you may be able to implement changes, do things differently, be more productive, you know, if possible, if it involves any sense of legal contracts, because the 9th house can be related to courts and lawyers and contracts, you know, if possible, leave it until after the 11th of September before you sign anything or agree to anything. But if you don't have that opportunity, then really just read things through, double check the fine print, or have somebody else help you there. So I hope that's helpful for you, Capricorns. Thanks for listening. Like and share, leave a comment below if you're able, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. Contact me below as well for a reading if you're interested. That is really my passion of sharing personal charts, because it's like really a map of the heavens, as above, so below. It's a blueprint of your personal opportunities in life. You know, as human beings, we still have choices on how we allow the planets, you know, with their gifts or challenges, how we choose to live and respond to these energies. And also when you have your personal birth chart done, you've got all the transits around the outside scene, which is being activated. And I also work with the ancient astrology annual perfection time lord, which means that certain planets have particular significance over the year ahead, dependent upon perfecting from your ascendant sign and what age you are, which changes every year. So yeah, contact me below. So hello there, Aquarius. How are you doing? This is a new moon in your 7th house of personal relationships. So this is one of the dynamic houses for you, Aquarians. So the 7th house is really about intimate relationships, like romantic relationships, partnership relationships, marriage relationships, also can be business relationships, and also your audience if you serve others in a sense of a business or a service that you offer others. So new moon, new potential, new ideas that you may initiate, or some new beginnings of new relationships that you're about to start if you're single. There could be new potential here for new relationships to begin over the next 6 months, or any ideas that things that you might like to change in your existing relationships may come to fruition around the 12th of February 2025, as we have that completion of the new moon coming to fruition, full light and endings at Leo full moon. And we also have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, harmony, pleasures, enjoyment. So this is a really creative area of your life, potentially at this time, because Leo is playful, fun, creative. You know, it could be a time of really injecting some new energy into existing relationships or doing things in a really fun, loving way at this time of this new moon, starting new things, being more childlike, enjoying, just say if you were doing a painting or some artwork or playing on the beach, you know, anything that brings out that childlike energy could really infuse your relationships or just bring you alive. So Venus, at the same time as that positive, is at the anaretic degree here. And there is a quincunx to Pluto in your first house. So for you Aquarians, there's some real intense, big shifts and cathartic change in how you show up in the world. And Venus about your pleasures and interactions and relationships and values is in this sort of tense degree with this cathartic, regenerative, transformational change in how you show up in the world and use your sense of own power. There is a tense energy there, the quincunx. It's a bit like a really irritated, scratchy, itchy bit. It's a bit stressful. And also there's a quincunx to Neptune in your second house here at the anaretic degree as well. Neptune is about your hopes and wishes and trust and belief system in other realms, your high imagination, romanticism. It's very creative, you know, it can be very spiritual. But at the same time, Neptune can be bringing in foggy confusion. So there could be a confusion around your own abilities to create finances or believe in your own skills. And certainly with Saturn there, your ruler, this is a time where you have been having to really look at what's missing and what can be developed for the long term, because Saturn is the taskmaster and he really encourages us to recognize our limitations, recognize our skills, recognize our wisdom, recognize what's missing, and build upon and master those things in a slow, steadfast, patient, enduring way, because Saturn is Kronos, Lord of Time. So that's going on for you, Aquarians. And also let's just have a little look at the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is stationed 4 degrees, 4 minutes Virgo in your 8th house, which is related to shared resources. There may be some anxieties with Mercury in Virgo here, because Virgo can overanalyze and really go into the minutiae of things, you know, and just delving deeper and deeper and deeper into the fine details that maybe other people don't even recognize, you know. So it's a very analytical, perfectionist sign of the zodiac, but also has the ability to create things to a really high standard and be, you know, really use productivity and a sense of service and meaningful behavior. But Mercury in her own temple at the moment is about to retrograde back into your house of personal relationships. On the 15th of August, Mercury will retrograde back into your 7th house here. And on the 28th of August, Mercury will station direct at 21 degrees Leo. And then on the 9th of September, move back into this 8th house of shared resources, things that you do with others, a sense of what you bring to the table, what others bring, in a sense of balance or karmic debt, what you owe others, how others perceive you. It's the esteem of others in ancient astrology. And on the 11th of September, that's when Mercury will be at this point and clear this shadow period of 4 degrees. So, you know, if there are any new initiatives happening with others in either your business relationships or personal relationships, and that involves signing contracts, just maybe, if you can, wait until the 11th of September, or if you can't, because of Mercury retrograde, there can be confusions, miscommunications, missing some details, things not being clear, people not receiving how you communicate in the way that you intended it to be, and vice versa. So, you know, just double check things, check the fine print, maybe have somebody else look over something for you to sort of have 2 pairs of eyes on it, or, you know, just be careful there. But yeah, and yeah, Saturn, your ruler, I've talked about being in this 2nd house of resources. So lots to think about there, Aquarians. Thank you so much for listening, and let me know below if any of that resonates with you. Finally, patient Pisces, welcome Pisces. to this new moon delineation, which is happening in your 6th house here. At 12 degrees, 33 minutes Leo, we've got the sun and the moon conjoined, shining the bright Leo light, co-present with Venus here at 29 degrees in the house related to your sense of work, daily life, routines, service. It can be related to colleagues, co-workers. It can also be related to pets and your own health and well-being. So it can be related to things like that. So this is an opportunity for you at this new moon to think about what you would like to maybe initiate and bring to the table, Pisces, because you can be a person that often is very self-sacrificing because you're aware emotionally and sensitively of the collective. You know, you're the sort of person generally that can pick up on the undercurrents and feel real compassion towards others. So it's likely that you're a very giving person and you pick up on these sort of unspoken facets of life. But this gives you an opportunity to tap into your own personal creativity and unique gifts and plant some seeds in these dark soils at this new moon that you can gradually make plans to bring to fruition around the 12th of February 2025, when there's a full moon in Leo. So yeah, a sense of new beginnings. It may be to do with new regimes related to your health and your fitness or your diet, what you take into your body that may help you in the future. And Venus is also supporting you there, shining that light in this house. So it's related to your pleasures, your relationships and your values, and also finances here. As I've done before, I've talked about Venus being in a slightly tense aspect using modern day astrology. We have the quincunx 150 degrees, which is going to Neptune at 29 degrees here in your 1st house. This is about you and how you show up. So there is a sense, because in modern day astrology, Neptune is given to be the ruler of Pisces. That was discovered, I think, in the 1700s, was it? It was after, I'm getting confused with Uranus anyway. 1800s is when Neptune was discovered, and it's a time of clairvoyancy, interest in spiritual seances, spiritualism, also cinema. So there's this sense of dreaminess, fantasy, beauty, creativity happening in your 1st house of how you show up in the world. So there can be some changes going on there, and there could be some confusion as well about your own identity, because Neptune is going retrograde here, but is at the anaretic degree. So there's some tension around everyday relationships, maybe work, co-workers, and how that affects you and your sense of self, because there can be foggy confusion of feeling deceived in some way, or just really not sure, or also just feeling great fatigue sometimes with Neptune transits quite strong, because Neptune can be about depletion and surrender. And also we've got Venus. She is also in a quincunx, out of sign quincunx, but still within 150 degrees to Pluto in your 12th house of Aquarius. So this is the hidden place. So since Pluto moved into this area of your life, there will be a time of very deep reflections on an inner level when you are away from the public eye, when you're on your own. There can be a sense of facing the shadow side of yourself, that taboo parts, the parts that we hide away, they're always there, and it can be a cathartic time of release, facing these parts and finding a way of transforming and regenerating that inner self, knowing ourselves well. And it's about finding your own sense of control and strength, with release, as in, you know, not wanting to give away your power in a way, because this is like the house of self-undoing with Pluto here. It can be very, very intense, these inner journeys. It's a good time to reflect upon your dreams, and just maybe journal a little bit, and maybe get into meditation, things like that. But anyway, in your house of everyday life where Venus is, there's a tense aspect going to Pluto in the 12th house of Saturn's joy. At the same time, Pluto is given a nice sextile, creating this wedge to a sense of hope and trust and belief and faith that things can be resolved, because the sextile 60 degrees is an aspect, the nature of Venus, and it's a supportive aspect. So I hope that is something you can ponder on. And your ruler, your ancient ruler is here, is Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter moved in here in May and will be here for a year. This is in your house of home and family. So Jupiter is highlighting the importance of where you belong, your resting place, maybe connecting to your ancestry. And there's something going on. There are lots of different ideas because Jupiter is in Gemini, stimulating many, many different ideas. And there will be a conjunction here with Mars and Jupiter coming up. So, and the let's just quickly finish now, Pisces, with the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is currently in the 7th house of your personal relationships, in Virgo, in the temple that she rules, but she's been moving very, very slowly, and she's quite analytical. There's a sense of maybe reflecting upon your close and personal relationships and how that makes you feel about yourself, knowing your place, the dynamic and things. So Mercury is now about to retrograde back and returns to Leo, which is the house of your service and everyday life, what you do in a mundane way, the chores, you know, the repetitive nature, the service to others can be related to your work. On the 15th of August, Mercury returns to Leo, reflecting upon those topics of your life. And on the 28th of August, Mercury then stations direct in Leo at 21 degrees, and then returns to Virgo, the domicile that she rules, on the 9th of September, but then will clear this shadow period on the 11th of September. So if there's any way, if you are at the point where you need to sign contracts for work or things like that, or anything that's legal, if you can wait until after the 11th of September, that will be most fruitful for you. And then you can move ahead with your ideas that you've reflected upon, which may be related to how much you do for others, your health, your work, and then how that's going to impact your relationships in the future, Pisces. So I hope that's helpful for you. And thank you so much for listening. If you can, leave a comment below if any of that does ring any bells, that would be great. So that's the end of my video today for the new moon in Virgo, Leo, sign of the lion. I hope you found it helpful. If you're interested in a reading at all, as I was saying earlier in my videos, please contact me. I spend several hours before I do your reading, and I would need your name, date, and time of birth to get an accurate birth chart. And then we could make a date and do a live Zoom recorded reading. And I also send my notes by email afterwards. So happy new moon, remembering that Leo rules the heart, and enjoying this bright sunny time of year, and also the harvest of Lammas or Lugnasa, which is about what we have got that we can celebrate at this time of year, what we have harvested, what we've done in the past, and what harvests are now coming to be part of our lives here. So sending out warm Leonian love this new moon. Blessings to all beings. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.